a Bramble Jam podcast. Hi, I'm Bran, and I love Christmas movies post 1992.
I'm Alonzo, and I somehow walk into these every other week, and this
is the Deck the Hallmark podcast. Yeah, it is. Man, home stretch, pal.
I know. Look, Hallmark has announced their new Christmas in July title, so the whole year is just coming together.
It's all coming together, pal. I mean, we're just a mere few weeks now from Christmas in July.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I'm real excited. Now, I don't know if it's because like the crop this year of non-Christmas movies has left has left me wanting. There's been some good ones. There's been some ones that have taken risk, and there's been some ones over the past few weeks, back in May, way back in May, if you can remember from a few weeks ago, of like just real old school bad, and I kind of like those ones more than like middle of the road.
I have sat out the May movies, but listening to you guys describe them is just like it's once a week. It's like what bullet have they taken for me, those boys? Oh, this, ooh, that, whoa, okay, yeah.
So I'm excited to once again, have Hallmark going in the office, in the middle of the day because it's Christmas movies and making me happy. Now I don't know. Have you seen I've been blown away by, at some point over the last few months, Philo updated their DVR to where when it goes to a commercial break, you literally press the arrow. This is on Roku, at least. You press the arrow once and it skips all the commercials.
Wow.
It is some sort of wizardry.
I will be implementing that when July rolls around, I'm sure.
Blows my mind every time I use it. I'm real excited though. And what is it? Is it getting hot out there yet?
Not terribly. Like we have what we call the May gray and the June gloom here, which tend to be overcast. Mind you, it will still be hot in like October and early November, so that's, we get it on the back end. But yeah, for now, it hasn't gotten too awful yet.
Man, that's nice. I'm always amazed, May and June, of just like the mystery that it is across the country when it comes to weather. We've had snowstorms in Denver, 95 degrees here in the South, followed by a 70-degree day. It's just
90 degrees in like Massachusetts.
It's wild.
In May. It was insane. Yeah.
Yesterday, I went up to Charlotte in the evening, and when I left my house in Greenville, which is, for those of you without a map, south of Charlotte, it was a little bit chilly. And then I drove to Charlotte and it was significantly warmer. And I'm like, well, I don't understand what just happened. I walked out of my car. I was like, man, I'm going to get dinner. I'm going to sit outside. It's going to be great because it's going to be chilly. It wasn't chilly. I was very confused by what happened, but some sort of wormhole is the best that I can gather about that. All right. So I told you last week I was going to do a little bit of a risk. And the reason I said that is because if you recall earlier this year, or maybe it was late last year, I don't know, when we were talking about doing this project, you sent me a list of movies that you had either not seen or didn't like. That was the list. And what was missing off of that list was Santa Claus 1, 2, and 3. Now, Tim Allen movie. Sure. And I'm picking one of those movies, and the one that I'm picking is Santa Claus 3. And
okay, that's the one I haven't seen, actually. So
really, so it wasn't on the list, but I felt like it was like, I felt like we had maybe talked about it at some point, that you hadn't seen it or something.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I've never heard anyone defend it. So which is why I've never seen it. But okay,
I love Santa Claus 1. Sure. I'm one of those people that also really like Santa Claus 2, and I will watch those ones basically every year. I haven't seen Santa Claus 3 in a hot minute. I think I've only seen it one or two times. But I gotta believe.
Look, Only Murders in the Building is back for season 2.
See, this is what's happened.
We all love Martin Short, right?
Over the last year, I was reminded of my love of Martin Short. And, we got season 2 is coming out later this month. And so I think it's a good time to do this one.
Sure, why not? And it is actually, again, like there've been a couple in here where I was like, didn't never just knew better than to try, because all the, like I'll Be Home for Christmas, all the everything I'd ever read about it was so negative. I was just like, and life's too short, but not this short. So, yes, I'll watch it, we'll discuss it, and we'll see if it's aged in a way that if our love for Martin Short has made it somehow improve in the can.
Life is short, but is it Martin Short, Alonzo?
No!
Oh, I got you, pal. Let's take a quick break. You and we're going to take a break. We're going to go watch
right
Santa
back.
Claus 3, and then we'll come back like movie magic, having consumed it. We'll be right back here on Deck the Hallmark. Oh, we're back, and we're talking Santa Claus. Not just any Santa Claus, the Santa Claus 3. The switcheroo.
The escape clause.
The escape clause. So, how about that? You want me to give everybody a little synopsis, Alonzo?
Would you?
I will indeed. The Santa Claus originally debuted to theaters on November 3rd, 2006, at a running time of 92 smackers, and it went a little something like this. Well, we're back, everybody. It is back at the North Pole, and Mrs. Claus, Carol, if you will. She's there. She is with child, and there's a lot going on. Scott, Santa, still preparing for the holiday season, but he's also preparing for baby. So there's a lot going on, and things are just kind of falling behind. He can't get through the naughty or nice list once, much less twice, Alonzo.
And it's part of the job description.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's a song or two about that. And so there's going to be a crew. The legendary figures are all coming, and they're meeting because of Jack Frost, who I didn't know up until this point was a legendary figure. He wasn't in number 2, but I get it's all. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's a wannabe. But either way, they're talking about his behavior, what's going on. He wants a holiday. He's making it Frost and Mexico, and you can't have that. And so what are we to do about this fella? And so they decide, basically, he negotiates a lighter sentence of community service at the North Pole, which is going to allow him to kind of just stick around for a while. Now, Carol is like, I need my family around. You're busy. I need my parents here. So how are we going to bring the parents up to the North Pole without them knowing that Scott is Santa, North Pole? They convince him that they're just in Canada and that the elves are just Canadians. That's just the general look of Canadians, which, who am I? I've never been there. I don't know. Who am I to know?
You should go. How you haven't done a Hallmark set visit in Vancouver or Prince Edward Island just boggles the mind.
I tell you what. Well, Jack Frost finds out about something called the escape clause, which is basically if you're Santa and you're holding this special snow globe and you say, I wish I had never been Santa at all, you're not anymore. It like sends you something happens, some wacky new stuff happens. And so Jack Frost is now having to figure out a way to get Santa to hold the snow globe and say the magic words. And to do that, he's basically just gonna cause a bunch of ruckus around the North Pole and create chaos for Santa and get him to say the thing. It's a big trick. It's a big old trick. And so once he says it, magic ensues. They go back to the OG Santa Claus front yard of Scott Calvin. And before Scott can come out of the door, Jack runs up, puts on the suit. Now Jack Frost is Santa Claus. In this magical new world, Scott is the CEO of the toy company that he was working for back in Santa Claus 1. And he is making people work on Christmas Eve, and he's all about the money. And he's very confused by this because he is still like reformed Scots, but like this, he knows that it's wrong that they're working on Christmas Eve is the point. He's trying to figure out how he's going to get back to the way things should be. And so he finds out that Frost has made an amusement park out of the North Pole. People can come, spend money, pay for their name to be on the nice list, all sorts of stuff. And so he goes there. Luckily, our guy Judge Reinhold and their daughter is there, and they don't like Scott, but Scott is able to convince Lucy, the girl, to go into the snow globe room, get the snow globe, bring it to Scott. Now, what's Scott going to do? Because Jack is surely never going to say that that phrase while holding the snow globe. Well, what you don't know is that he has a magical recording pin, and he's having a conversation with Jack. He's like, you tricked me into saying that. And then Jack says the phrase while Scott is holding the record button. And so he gives Jack the snow globe, plays the play button. They're back on the front yard again. Scott this time pins him down. Back in time, Scott's able to come out, put on the suit. Everything is back to where it should be. And we're back at the North Pole. They tell the parents the truth, and everything is as it should be. Now, Jack is not happy. He freezes Judge Reinhold and the wife, and the old wife, the ex-wife, first wife. He's like, they're not going to be unfrozen unless I'm not frozen. He basically is like, never. But Lucy goes up and gives him a hug, and we get a full like Grinch moment where, his heart grows 3 sizes, his hair goes back to normal, everybody gets unfrozen. It's now time for it's Christmas Eve, and it's almost time to deliver toys, but first we got to deliver a baby. And so the baby happens. We get that baby, and we find out that the baby is named Buddy Claus. Will we see Buddy in the television program this holiday season? I hope. And that, my friends, was the Santa Claus 3, The Escape
Clause.
That's exactly right. Let's talk about it, Alonso. You, if I remember correctly from just a few minutes ago, you had seen this one once?
I had not.
That's right. It's all coming back to me now.
But it was so uniformly disliked that I just kind of felt like I never needed to. One, I think is terrific. I'm a big fan. Yes. 2 is fine, as sequels go. But yeah, everybody was like, oh yeah, 3, don't even, And it turns out they were right.
Okay.
This is kind of a negligible sequel. There is a specific thing about threequels in particular where there's a certain level of, maybe not desperation, but they really have to kind of figure out, okay, now where are we going with this and what else can we do? And apparently they decided, well, let's do It's a Wonderful Life, which is a weird fit here. Yes, they're both Christmas classics, but it doesn't mean that they, it's like, I don't know, eggnog and roast beef, they don't necessarily go together, So yeah, there's just, Martin Short is being real Martin Short in this, and that's fine. And you wouldn't want him to do it any other way. But this movie, it kind of reminds me of when we were watching Jingle All the Way. There is this tendency of filmmakers not to trust that children will pay attention unless there's a lot of noise, a lot of music, a lot of goofy sound effects, people falling over, like all this, like this movie crams so much wacky at you. And it's like, look, why, if you have a child, show them E.T., show them The Black Stallion, and you'll be amazed at how they'll actually pay attention to a film that is quiet and that takes its time and that isn't just barraging them with nutty sensation throughout. So yeah, I found that kind of tiring. I didn't buy the, as you said before on this, boy, if we had a wait what section on this show, because the plot holes that make zero sense are pretty gigantic. Like Alan Arkin and Anne Margaret, legends, and
Yeah.
given very little to do here, and I was kind of annoyed by that. Um, yeah, I don't know. I didn't buy into the central premise of Scott being so, like, unable to keep up with the demands of things, because I mean also he's had a kid before. I'm sure second kid much less panicky than first kid, right? As
It
far as
has
like
been 20
the
some
birth
odd
thing.
years though. So,
Granted, sure, yeah, but I don't know. It seems to me like I don't know. I didn't buy into it, and I found it really just kind of shrill and overbearing. And so, while there are some things, there were some moments I liked and some fun ideas. Overall, it just too much.
So, as I mentioned, I have seen this. It's just
Mhm.
not in my regular rotation. I think the thing that is frustrating about this movie is like the idea. I don't hate it, and the way
Yeah,
once they get there, I enjoy it. Once they do the switchy and we have Frost North Pole and he's trying to get back, like the last, what is it's really, that's like the last 30 minutes, really, like 40 minutes is that, which is crazy to me because nothing happens up until that point. Like
yeah,
there,
and then suddenly
it
it's all
it
happening.
takes so long to get there. Once we get there, I do enjoy it, and I think Martin Short and Tim Allen together are doing a fun thing. It's a fun movie to watch when that's happening. It's just the getting there that just takes so long that I honestly I couldn't believe it. What's crazy about this movie is the budget was only $12 million.
What? Do they have like a
According to
lot of?
Wikipedia,
Do they
twelve
have like?
million dollars.
Had they already like built the sets for the previous movie and just reused them, or?
That's my guess, but like, what did Tim and Martin get paid?
Clearly they were in it for the back end, like they
Surely.
maybe they took a small bit up front and wanted a piece of later, because yeah, just the two of them alone I would think would cost you more than that. So okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's right. So
also.
that's Santa Claus 2 came out 4 years prior, had a
Mhm.
$65 million budget.
Huh.
The only explanation is that the Santa Claus they had that set still
Yeah,
up and ready to go, but like that's crazy.
yeah, well, and also I think I always miss David Krumholtz, like
Yeah.
it's just not the same without that character. Also, I've always resented this franchise of films because people always kind of tended to misspell Santa Claus by putting an E on it, even though
Oh,
that's a
it has ruined
pun.
my life.
Locked in, people will not stop doing it. It's like, no, no, no. See, it's a pun because a clause is a thing and a contract. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
As the editor in me, like, just goes nuts with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's. I mean, this. I don't hate this movie. I mean, of the compared to a lot of the ones you showed me, like, I'm not angry at it. I just don't think it is nearly as good as its predecessors.
They had an idea, right?
Yeah,
And then they just didn't know how to make it into a movie.
yeah,
It's 90 minutes long, and there's a block of it in there that is the plot, and it's good, but it's like that first part, it's just like, good Lord, let's get to the thing.
yeah. All the machine sabotaging and the stuff with the parents feels like padding, and then you can also tell like they are so afraid of, like, they want to do It's a Wonderful Life, but they're so afraid of Pottersville.
Yeah.
So like, first of all, it's a short movie, so they zip out of like bad parent Scott as quickly as they can, and they don't make it that grim. Everybody's just kind of frowny, and they also, you'll note, frame the entire film as a flashback so that everybody knows it's okay, it's all right. It might get a little iffy there for a moment, but we know that it's good because she's telling you the story. So relax, kids.
Right.
And again, in a kids movie, I get it. You don't want to like freak children out, but yeah, if you're gonna do It's a Wonderful Life, then you have to kind of commit to the grim part.
Yeah, I mean, Scott and Santa Claus 1 is an absolute tool for
Oh, for sure.
45 minutes of the movie.
Yeah,
So, like,
Denny's, come
it
on.
It's an American institution. It was, that is true to who he was. Like him
Sure.
being the CEO that works on Christmas Eve, like totally was
Yeah.
accurate.
Oh, yeah,
What
yeah,
would
yeah.
have
I
happened?
mean, they definitely pick up to where they left off with that guy had he not become Santa, and I admire that. But I think that, but then you have to really, you have to delve into it, and then also, yeah, what is going on where he now suddenly doesn't know what happened over the last 12 years, but now he's old Scott and new Scott or whatever. Yeah, that's baffling.
I also why is Judge Reinhold and other wife, their relationship is somehow fully dependent on him being Santa Claus. Because if he's
Yeah,
not Santa Claus, they get a divorce. They're separated. It's not a good what
that's a lot of
their
pressure.
whole relationship is
Hinged upon.
is secured in the beauty and the magic of Santa Claus, which is really something.
The divorce, the proceedings were probably fascinating. Your Honor, my wife's former husband did not become Santa Claus, thus we cannot remain married.
There's nothing we can do about that. So yeah, overall, fine, but unnecessary. I will say it got my mind. Like I'm, I like the miniseries approach. I'm excited for this holiday season to see what they come up with for it. I don't know how many episodes it is. The premise is him realizing he's getting old, which is your Santa, but and he's going to try to find somebody to replace him. Is it going to be Charlie? Is it going to be Buddy? Is there going to be some sibling rivalry?
I don't know. I mean, we've seen this before, like Noel obviously has about the passing of the reins and Arthur Christmas, this
Yep.
notion of, but look, at least he doesn't have to fall off a roof and die. Like he actually is getting to pick. It's like the Pope, for once we had one that didn't die and just decided, you know what, I'm stepping back. Somebody else can take over, which is the exception and not the rule, I guess.
But I feel like in Santa 1, they say that the guy who did fall off the roof had been Santa for hundreds of years.
Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. He's kind of, it seems a bit of a slacker, like, a couple decades and you're done, Santa. Sheesh.
Too much.
Or maybe it's set in the future and it's about like the children, his grandchildren. I don't know.
We'll see. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm always down. It's clearly it's all that Tim Helen has at this point. I guess I'll be Santa again.
Well, they didn't call him back on Lightyear, so he's like, all right, fine, I'll do Santa Claus then.
Oh, man, I felt, when I read that they didn't even ask him, I was like, oh, poor guy. Like, you have given years and years to that voice, and they're just like, I think it's time. That's always
looking at someone younger. I'm not averse to the idea of returning to this well. I just hope they do it better than this movie does.
Yeah, I agree. I'm hopeful that the miniseries approach will allow them to do it a little bit better. We'll see. Yeah. Let's talk about feels. Christmas feels. What'd you get in this movie?
Again, I think on a visual level, these movies do the North Pole really well, and I admire that. But I didn't get a lot of sentimental feels or sort of like, Christmas warmth out of it, just because I found it so like running around screaming and boing and bonk and all that stuff,
Right.
So maybe like a 6.5, I guess, just, and again, purely based on like art direction and set design.
Yeah. Good soundtrack. There's some good music in there.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And visually it works. So
I love some Andy Williams,
Yeah. I'll give it a 7.5. 7.5, I think. I think that's what I'm going for. Recommendations.
I think I've probably recommended Arthur Christmas before, but I think again that's I think one of the best Santa movies of recent vintage.
I agree. The amount of people that haven't, like, the fact that Arthur Christmas isn't considered a modern day classic
staple, for sure,
is awful. I think it's starting to get in the rotation more. Like I saw it a good bit on Freeform this past year, which I think it maybe was new to this year, or at least of the past couple of years. So hopefully it being added in those rotations will help.
I'll also recommend a Martin Short movie that I think a lot of people haven't seen, and that is Jiminy Glick in La La Wood, which is a feature-length expansion of his Jiminy Glick character, who's this like super unctuous
I love
celebrity
Jiminy Glick.
interviewer. And I'll tell you, I've seen so many like TV sketch ideas just totally lose it when blown up to feature length, but this one works somehow. I thought it was really funny. So if you like, you should maybe check the movie out. I thought it was pretty good.
I haven't seen the movie.
It's not Hallmark, but it's it's funny.
Gosh, Jiminy Glick. There's no Jiminy Glick walked so that Between Two Ferns could run.
Thank you. Yes, I totally agree. Are you going to recommend that Elizabeth Mitchell Hallmark movie from a couple years ago?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to recommend a movie just because we're in the Santa Claus world. It's called Get Santa.
Okay.
I watched it for the first time a few years ago. It was on Netflix. It's not there anymore. I think I watched it this past holiday season on Hoopla. So
British,
just kind of look
right?
around. But it's a movie where Santa gets arrested, and there's this guy who like gets tasked with the mission of saving Santa, but he's a bad guy, kind of like this Jack Frost character.
Okay.
And he's forced to do some things. Fun movie, a lot of good times. Once the elves get involved, you lose a little bit, but that tends to happen sometimes. So give it a watch. It's a movie that I really like that is not on the forefront of a lot of Christmas conversations.
Yeah,
So
I've never seen it, so I'll
there you
seek
go.
it out.
There you go. All right, I'm going to take my headphones off.
For my last pick.
One last time, I'll do it. And
Yeah.
you tell the people what we're going to watch.
The time has come for Bran to watch a movie with subtitles. We're doing the French drama A Christmas Tale. It's a movie I love. And I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he can handle it.
That's it?
Yep.
All right. Well, that's it for this week. We'll be back next week, and I'll find out what we're going to watch. Until then, may we be the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.